All right, today we're going to start Unit 2, Pre-Algebra 2 topics, and today we're going to talk about percent. Percent means per 100 or out of 100. So 15% means 15 out of 100. 1.5% means 1.5 out of 100. Decimals, percents, and fractions can also be used to name the same number. To write a decimal as a percent, you move the decimal 2 places to the right and write the percent sign. So 0.78, 1, 2 over makes it 78%. 2 places to the right makes it 9%. 2 places to the right makes it 5.24%. 2 places to the right makes it 2,863.4%. To write a percent as a decimal, you move the decimal 2 places to the left and write zeros if necessary. So if I had 78%, you move it 2 places over, and that would be equal to 0.78, sorry. Okay, the 9%, there's the decimal, 2 places over would be 0.09. So you just go backwards. All right, to write a fraction as a decimal, you divide the numerator by the denominator. To change this decimal to a percent, follow the rule above. It says write 3/8 as a percent. You take 8 into 3 and you do all these decimals, which is crazy because we have a calculator. So all you do is make the calculator divide for you. Okay, so you do 3 divided by 8 and you get 0.375. That's a decimal. To make it a percent, we move it 2 places to the right, which is multiplying by 100, which makes it 37.5%. 2/3 is 2 divided by 3, and then it's 0.6 repeating. 2 places over would make it 66 and 0.6 repeating percent. Okay, to write a percent as a fraction, you basically divide by 100. So you write the percent as a fraction with 100 in the denominator, then simplify the fraction if possible. So 56% is 56 over 100, which reduces down to 14 over 25. Our calculator will do that for us. You type in 56 divided by 100, it's 0.56, and then enter it, and it'll turn it into a fraction for you. Okay, so if I have 0.84%, I divide that by 100, which gives me 0.0084, which if I enter it, gives me 21 over 2500. Alright, so fractions and percents. It will help you to know the fraction and percent equivalents in the following table. 1/4 is 25%. These, I don't have all of these memorized. The ones I know for sure are 1/4, 25%, that's very, very common. Obviously a half is very common. 3/4 is very common. Your fifths, not so much. Your sixths, you'll see those a lot. Okay, 1/6 is 16 2/3, or 16.6 repeating. 1/3, 2/3, 5/6. You really should memorize these, at least these, the quarters and the thirds. Those are pretty common. Fifths and eighths, not so much, but there they are. All right, so you try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got 12%. It said Lucy made 9 out of 15 free throw shots. Anne made 18 out of 25 free throw shots. What is the difference between Lucy's free throw percentage and Anne's free throw percentage? So first of all, I've got Lucy, who made 9 out of 15, and I have, who's the other one? Anne, who made 18 out of 25. Well, they don't want me to compare fractions, they want me to compare percentages. So I'm going to turn those fractions, I'm going to turn those fractions into percents. Where did my animation go? Oh, darn it. Okay, give me just a second. Alright, so I'm going to do 9 divided by 15, which is 0.6, and Anne is 18 divided by 25. So as percentages, that would be 72% take away 60%, which makes 12%. Okay. Alright. So next, we're going to talk about completing this table. The 3 numbers across in each row should be equal. So they gave me 18%. As a decimal, you move it 2 places over. It's going to be 0.18. And then that's going to be 18 over 100, which will reduce. And our calculator will help us. So I do 18 divided by 100. There's my decimals, 0.18. And as a fraction, it reduces down to 9/50. Okay, 0.036. As a percent, we move it 2 places over. So that's going to be 3.6%. As a fraction, that's going to be 3.6 over 100. We use our calculator. Okay, 0.036 as a fraction is 9 over 250. So this would simplify down to 9 over 250. And then obviously as a percent it would be 3.6. Alright, 5/8 to get a decimal, you type it in the calculator. 5 divided by 8 is 0.625. And then as a percent, move it over twice, is 62.5%. Okay, the next one is 0.84%. So if I want to change it to a decimal, I divide by 100. So I have 0.84 divided by 100, which gives me 0.0084. Math enter that, and you get 21 over 2500. Okay, for 9.0002, to make it a fraction, I just I type it in and hit math enter, and it's 1 over 5,000. And if I take this and move it 2 places over, it's 0.02%. Okay, last one, they gave me 5/6. Divide on the calculator gives me 0.83 repeating. And then move it twice over would be 83.3 repeating percent. Or you could write it 83 1/3. Alright, so let's try some of these. It says Jennifer ran 3/8 of a mile. What percent of a mile did she run? Well, if she ran 3/8 of a mile, okay, then we take 3/8 and we make it a decimal. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. And then change it to a percent, multiply it by 100, or move it 2 places to the right, would be 37.5% of a mile. Okay, Bob is 75% of Chad's height. What fraction of Chad's height is Bob? So they're telling me to take 75% and turn it into a fraction. Well, that should be one you just memorized. 75% is 3/4. Okay. Jim's gas tank was a quarter full. What percent of his gas tank was full? Well, a quarter divided would make 0.25. Multiply it by 100 makes 25%. Again, that's one you should automatically know. Frank wins 30% of the time. What fraction of the time does Frank win? They're telling me to take 30% and turn it into a fraction. So I do divide by 100 is 0.3. Then math enter it, and I get 3/10. Okay. Dave rides his bike to work 2/3 of the time. What percent of the time does David ride his bike to work? This showing you people one you just memorized. So 2/3 of the time is 66, and I'm sorry. Yeah, 2/3 is 2 divided by 3 is 0.6 repeating, which would 2 places over would be 66.6 repeating percent, which can also be written as 66 and 2/3%. Alright, Eric works out 5 days a week and he jogs on 4 of those days. On what percent of the workout days does he jog? He jogs 4 of the 5 days. What percent is that? Well, we're going to take 4 divided by 5, and that's 0.8. To make it a percent, move it 2 places over, and you get 80%. Rachel has 6 dresses and 50% of them are red. What fraction of the dresses are red? Well, they're telling you to take 50% and turn it into a fraction, which you should be able to do in your head. That's half. Matt makes 80% of the money that Andy makes. What fraction of Andy's money does Matt make? 80% as a decimal would be 0.8. Math enter it would be 4/5. Okay. Alright, you try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got C. Letitia works in the personnel department at a company. 2 out of every 5 people she interviews are female. What percent of the people that Letitia interviews are female? So they gave me 2/5. They gave me 2/5. I have to turn that into a percentage. So 5 goes into 2. 0.4 times, move it over twice, is 40%. Okay? Alright, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Hopefully you got 7/20. Alright, so we have 65% over 18. What fraction of the people who went to see the movie were under 18? Well, you got to be careful there. If 65% were over 18, you take 100, subtract 65, which is 35%, and then they want that as a fraction. So as a decimal is 0.35, which is 35 over 100. And you can do 0.35, math, enter, and that gives you 7 over 20. Alright, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got E. It says Francine cooks vegetable stir fry 15 days in 4 weeks. And chicken stir fry 6 days in 4 weeks. What percent of the days does Francine cook stir fry? Well, she cooks stir fry 15 days in 4 weeks and 6 days in 4 weeks. So 15 plus 6 is 21. And we have 4 weeks, which 4 weeks times 7 is 28. So we have 21 days out of 28 days she makes stir fries. Well, I can reduce these by 7. 7 goes into 21, 3, 7 into 28, 4. That's 3/4 of the time, which you should just have that memorized, is 75% of the time. Okay, hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got G. On one math test, Beth got 84% of the questions right. On another test, she got 6 out of 15 answers correct. What is the difference between the fraction of questions? Well, first of all, I have to turn them into fractions. So 84% would be 0.84, and 0.84, math, enter, is 21 over 25, and this is 6 over 15. So then on my calculator, I can do 21 divided by 25 minus 6 divided by 15, and I get 0.44. Math, enter it, and you get 11/25. Okay? Try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. Alright, and they want to know, there are 8 chairs around one dining room table. 3 of those, so 3 of the 8 have armrests. There are 8 chairs around another table, and 7 of them have armrests. What percent of the 16 chairs have armrests? So that means 10 out of 16 chairs have armrests. Well, if I do 10 over 16, divide 10 divided by 16, you get 0.625. That's a decimal. 2 places over makes it 62.5%. And we are finished with day 1 of unit 2. That's percentages. I will see you next time.